Hi guys, it's Janice. Welcome back to my channel. Come on in the studio. We are gonna play today. Make yourself comfortable. I wanted to talk about watercolor pencils and some techniques and different things that you can do with them. They're pretty versatile. And then I have 3 different brands here that I was going to review with you. And then I'm gonna do a quick sketch and show you how I like to use them too. So the single ones that I have here, you can buy at your local art supply store, like 1 pencil at a time. And then there are different sets. So I have 2 from Faber-Castell, and I have 2 from the Derwent Inktense pencils. And then of course I have my favorite Stabilo in black. And then Ranger Tim Holtz has sets. There's 12 in the set, and this is watercolor pencil set number 1. I think there's 3 different versions of this with several different colors, so you can buy them like 12 at a time, and they come in this fun tin. And if I can get it open, which I love stuff that's organized in look what I did. I unorganized it. I love stuff that's organized in a tin like this, like little containers. That's my jam. So anyway, I'm going to first, I swatched these and I'm going to show you how to activate them. This is a technique where you lay the pencil down first and then you add the water. I'm going to show you, you can do it the opposite way too. But let's just go through these colors really quickly. And I have found that the Ranger watercolor set in the tin, a couple of the colors are not as vibrant as the Inktense and the Faber-Castell. So I'll show you those real quick. But this is the Stabilo black in the first corner, and you can see as soon as I touch water to it, it activates it. And this is a really intense, rich black, which I love. And I've done a couple, I did another video with just demoing the Stabilo pencil. And then the next one is the Derwent Light Olive, which is a really pretty green, which I love green. Let's see. You can see, when you can still see the pencil lines, that means I like it in my drawings, but that means it's not blended out completely. So when it dries, or even still now, I can keep going and it's gonna just keep activating that pigment and make it richer and more intense. And so this one is really pretty. I like this one a lot. The Faber-Castell Madder. It's like a really intense raspberry pink. And it's, I don't know, it's just intense. I like the intensity of that one. And then this one is the Faber-Castell Yellow Ochre, which I love yellow ochre. It's one of my favorite colors. I use it a lot in watercolor and acrylic. This one is not as intense, but if you wanted it to make it more intense, just make sure that you have water there, and then you can actually, when the paper is wet, take the pencil and use it on the wet surface and just keep activating it, and it will make it more intense and deeper and richer. All right, the next one is the Derwent Sienna Gold. And this is a really vibrant, orangey kind of gold color. It's really intense too, like the Madder. I love it. So those are the 5 single ones that I have purchased. And then the next 12 will be part of that Ranger set. And they do start it with a white, which I haven't used that yet. I'm sure it's good for highlighting and stuff. But if you wanted to highlight, I would just leave that part blank on your paper and use the pencil around it and let the white paper peek through. That's how I would highlight. I wouldn't highlight with a white pencil, but I don't know, maybe I need to look more into ways to use the white one. So this is the Black Soot. You can tell right away, it's not as, when it dries too, it's not as intense as the Stabilo is when it dries, in my opinion, but it's a good black. It's called Black Soot. And then the next one is a really pretty brown called Walnut Stain. I love how Ranger names their colors. Whoever does it is pretty creative. I thought it would be a fun job to name different colors, like in makeup palettes too. So this is a really light kind of walnut brown, and it's called Walnut Stain. So that's a nice one. And then the Villainous Potion is purple. And I probably won't get a lot of use out of this. Purple is the only color in the whole color palette that is just not my favorite. Not this palette, but like on a color wheel in life. Purple, unless it's in nature, like lavender. When God does it, he does it right. But in general, I don't have anything purple in my closet. I don't paint with a lot of purple, but it is a nice purple. And then the next one is a blue. It's called Salty Ocean. And this is an intense blue. It kind of reminds me of when you have something that is 3D. It's like a 3D blue. Speckled Egg was my most disappointing out of all the ones that I have used. It looks like in the set that it's going to be like a really pretty, I don't know, light teal blue, but it just does not have any pigmentation. You'll see when I add the water to it, it's just a really, really light blue, like super light. You can barely see it. And I'm going to try to add some of the color back. See, you can't even intensify it by adding the pencil to the wet paper. I did a little bit, but it's not too much. But you see when some of these are drying, how you can still see the pencil marks? That means I can go back in there and reactivate it, and it's going to intensify it even more. All right, so Salvaged Paint is a really pretty teal. It's not as intense as I had dreamt of, but it's pretty. And then my favorite one out of the set is the Peeled Paint, and you're gonna see why when I activate it. It's green, so pretty. I like this green better than the light olive. This is more my jam here. Something on my paper. So I really like that one. And then the Mustard Seed is a yellow, obviously. And it's an intense sort of primary yellow. And then I have Rusty Hinge, which you can imagine what this one is gonna look like. It's more of like a warm orange. And then Fired Brick, which is gonna be a warm red. And it literally looks like a brick, the color of a brick, which is fun. That's probably why they named it Fired Brick. And then the last one is called Picked Raspberry, which is a really pretty pink, kind of like the Madder, but it's it dries a tone different. So it's nice to have a couple different tones. So those are the ones that I own. I got a little bit of water in here, and I thought it would be fun to do a swatch sheet to kind of keep for my reference as well. We're getting ready to go up north to Michigan, and I'm taking, this is what inspired the video, I'm taking these with me because I think it's a good travel art supply to have. I just taking a sketchbook, a watercolor sketchbook, and these, just a little tiny art kit because we're going to be staying on the lake, and I thought it would be fun, relaxing, maybe doing some sketching, and all you need is a brush and some water and these pencils, and some paper, and you have what you need to be creative. So right here, I wanted to show you how to mix two colors. I have the Mustard Seed and Salty Ocean. Those are the only two colors that I use, which is like the yellow and the blue. And I'm gonna activate the yellow first and kind of stop because I don't want it to get muddy. I'm gonna clean my brush in between. And then I'm gonna activate the Salty Ocean, the blue, and stop. But in the middle, where I cross them over, you're gonna see it's gonna create green. So they are definitely mixable and blendable. I think that's a cool technique. And the different ways you can use them when you're applying them onto your paper is you can take the brush actually to the pencil lead. That's not lead, it's watercolor. Just be careful not to flick it around like I just did. And paint directly onto your paper that way. You can also dip the pencil in water and draw with it that way. And it makes it more intense, as you can see, which is pretty. And then I'm just gonna get that corner right there. But you can see the difference between painting off of the tip right here versus dipping it into the water. And then you can take, let me see, I'm looking at my notes, water to the paint. And then I already showed you how, like, there's a drop of water right here, how you can, if the water's already on the paper, you can just scribble with it. It's really pretty. But it also reminds me of, like, when you draw a picture, do you remember those coloring books when we were kids that they were just add water? That's what it reminds me of. So I'm going to show you a quick sketch, like a 2-minute sketch of how you can use these. This is one of the techniques that I like when I was talking about the 3D blue. I'm going to use the madder and the yellow ochre, just 2 colors, and make a little 3D effect. I'm going to do a little fashion sketch here. So I'm going to do her collar. This is just going to be really quick, so don't judge me. I'm going to start with the pink, and then I'll add the yellow in here in a minute. Let's put her neck here. And then her side of her face, a shoulder, and then her waistline is going to be kind of sloppy and ruched, like she's got a big kind of oversized blouse on, and then a waistline here. I'm going to put some pleating down here, some buttons. Let's see, and then it's gonna lead into like a fluffy skirt here. And then I'm just putting some seam work there. All right, where are we gonna put your arm, Miss Lady? We'll do some wrinkles in the shoulder girl, in the crook of her elbow. I have a lot to do today to pack, but you see what I'm doing instead. I just can't help myself. All right, and then I'm gonna go crazy on her skirt here. It's gonna be a big, fluffy, obnoxious, just fun, I don't know, like tooling maybe. And then she's gonna have a little skirt on, like a pencil skirt down here. And then all I do is take the yellow and the yellow ochre and just make a double line where I've already sketched. And you're gonna see, it makes orange in a couple spots, but it kind of, if you don't add a lot of water, it's gonna keep them separate. And it makes it look like that 3D effect I was telling you about. So I'm literally just going over everything I just did in the madder, the pink madder, with the yellow ochre. And you can see you can do really fast work with these, but you can also do really realistic, intense paintings with them too. I'm gonna play with them when I'm up north on the lake a little bit and see what I can come up with, because these are a newer purchase for me. I usually just paint with watercolors out of the tube. So, okay, so the fun part is when you get to activate it. And I'm gonna switch my brush, because I was using a number 8 round, which is really large. And I don't want to put too much water down right at first. So all I'm doing is using clean water. And this is where it reminds me of those books, those coloring painting books when we were kids, where you just add water, but you're making your own picture instead of somebody else making it for you. So you can see as soon as I touch my brush to it, it activates and makes it something pretty special. So I'm just gonna go through and do this real quick. Just right where I put the lines, I'm gonna do my outline first, and then I'll come back in and reactivate some of it and fill it in with a little bit of color. A little bit more color, I should say. But you don't have to be precise with this part of it. It's just going over it with the water, and it activates it and makes it look really cool, doesn't it? Comment below if you've ever used watercolor pencils, or if you feel like you would like to now after watching this demo, and what you do with them. I love this intense pink, the madder. It's really pretty. All right, just working on her skirt here, and then almost done. I told you it was going to be like a 2-minute painting. This is probably the fastest painting I've ever made. I usually spend more time on them, but that's the fun of this tool, is it can be quick. You can do more intense work, you can do quick work, and you're going to have a cool result. So what I was thinking is, while we're traveling in the car, I could do a bunch of sketching in my book, and then when I get up north, I can activate them all and paint them. I thought that would be fun. So we'll see how much car sickness I have. Okay, so I just did the outline like I said. Now I'm just gonna go back in and add a little bit of color to my white areas by just dipping my brush in the stuff that's not activated yet, and just pulling it over. And I'm not gonna do this everywhere because I feel like it would ruin it. I wanna leave white, but I do want some of it to have some pink in it. So I'm just gonna do a couple areas right here. All right, so I am calling that done. Like I said, it was a 2-minute painting. When it dries, it is gonna be a little bit lighter, just like watercolors out of the tube. It will be a little bit lighter. So I'm gonna sign it. Oops, I signed it in the water where it was still wet, so it's bleeding a little bit, but hey, I don't think it's going in an art museum anytime soon. But anyway, I want you to always remember that everyone is born an artist, just some of us have had more practice. If you ended your art career in kindergarten, it's never too late to start again. Don't be afraid to make a mistake, because that's why they make erasers. I'll talk to you soon.